everyone, my name is Jerk, and this is the big show. How's everybody doing? Has it been so long, Willow? You have all grown up so very fast. I know. It's my fault for not keeping in contact, and I wish I could give you a good reason as to why I've been aloof, but the fact of the matter is, it's not me, it's you. Well, not you the audience, but you the guests. How many times can we talk to Ruprecht before our eyes start to wonder? And look, you put the oats out. I'm gonna come in for a nibble, but as soon as you close that gate, I'm gonna jump the fence because I gotta be free. Free to do what I want any old time. And just like the Soup Dragons, I'm known for one thing and one thing only, and that's bringing new guests into the studio. So please join me in welcoming a brand new battle boat to the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, the legendary tier British destroyer. Give it up for Daring. Daring, baby. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that I think the majority of you are unfamiliar with this one. And for those of you who have played WoWs on PC, then you're rubbing your hands feverishly. At least I hope that's your hands, because otherwise you'll go blind. You see, Daring has a bit of a reputation of being one of the, if not the finest destroyers in all of the land. But before I dive too deeply into the reasons, let me get the commander and modules I'm using up on the big screen here, and it is none other than the Vienna sausage with Old Bay seasoning, good on seafood and destroyers, and Big Billiam Sims throwing his HP around. So now that we have our battle boat staffed, we can ask the question, in the immortal words of Jerry Seinfeld, what's the deal with Daring? Well, it is a utility destroyer, and if you're new to these parts, then let me tell you, utility equals good. Because utility means highly functional in many situations and many different potential builds, from a 4-heel will to rebuild monstrosity to a low detection torp boat. But if you're like me, you're going to focus on the guns. And let's talk about these guns. They are a mild-mannered 113 millimeters, which is smaller than the 120s on the Lightning, vastly smaller than the 140s on Kleber. And if you've been sitting on 4chan at 3 in the morning for any period of time, you'll have no doubt convinced yourself that size is everything. And in a way, you're right, but not in the way that you're thinking. If we were to peruse our 350 plus ship collection for another destroyer with guns close to this, you would probably be stopping on Akizuki with its 100mm guns. And what was the first lesson we said about those guns? If anything gives you broadside, shoot AP. Shall we nerd out for a hot second? Let's nerd out for a hot second. The HE shells on this ship penetrate 19mm of armor, which is going to work on most of the destroyers you see in most places, with a few exceptions. Now, the AP on this ship requires 19mm to arm the fuse, a fuse that is 0.01 seconds long with improved penetration angles in a 60/67.5 configuration. Pee-wee, a long time you talk. But what is any of this supposed to mean? What does it mean? Well, a pin on an HE shell will do 566 damage, whereas a pin from an AP shell will do 700, meaning each salvo has a potential of about 3,200 for the HE, but 4,200 for the AP. Granted, even with a destroyer, it's rare to hit a full salvo, but what I'm trying to say is, just like the Akizuki, any destroyer you see, give him the AP, Rock. Now, who wants to see some examples? So there I was, minding my own business, when up came a Stalingrad, a Khabarovsk, and a Colbert. Now, how I hit the citadel of that Stalingrad is anyone's guess, but lol. But one thing you are going to witness here is the utility that this ship offers, along with the AP shredding a Khabarovsk, which I know we've all seen before, but at least you can see it happening with a Daring now. And how I'm going to use positioning to take the Khabarovsk out before dealing with the Colbert behind me, who is, you know, trying to blast me over these rocks. But we see these salvos. They are typically around like 2,000 or 3,000, but also with the HE here, it would be shattering on that side armor of the Komarov. So, alright, look. 15 pins, 9 overpins. Still way more damage than we would be getting shooting HE. Now, how are we going to deal with this Colbert? Because they are definitely hot to trot, and so hot to trot, I'm not even sure what they're shooting at. Right? Because I'm spotted. And where are they shooting still? Still shooting? Well, maybe they're warning shots. I mean, I appreciate it, pal. I appreciate you giving me a chance, but this should be, you know, a pretty one-sided battle, right? The Colbert should absolutely destroy a Daring unless they fall for an old Torp trick. Anyway, moving back to our previous battle, I gotta say, I'm seeing more and more radar minos out there, and while it won't save your bacon every time, just remember that even Minotaur AP can ricochet if you give it a steep angle. So that's why I have taken this position, and while I didn't show it, that Mino shot at me the entire time their radar was going, and because I maintained such a steep angle, yes, they took about half of my HP, but I do have a heal. That's right, a heal on a destroyer. Now, this heal is not necessarily anything to write home about. I want to say it probably does about 2,000 HP, and you do have 2 of them, so that potentially puts you up to around 28,000 HP, unless you go with that 4 heal Wiltry build Insanity. But anyway, I had gone over there to help support that side, but now that there's just a Minotaur left over there, there's really no reason for me to be there. I need to get back to being centrally located to help reinforce this side. But we still have a little bit of a wait, so let's check out the Daring in another situation. Ho hum, no one mind me in an as of now super rare destroyer using a CC camo, pay no attention. Well, that's not working, but here you go. Let's see AP on a Shima. That's right, full pins. Full pins, and we are doing more damage than we would with our HE, so that's why you want to be using this AP when you are presented the option. Now, you didn't see me set this up, but I think we're gonna get a very fortunate double strike right here. The Shima has angled away, so I've switched back to the HE, and we are lobbing over there. The Kronstadt's radar's gone. And there goes one ship, there goes the other, and you know what? That's how it's done. So, back to our previous match. Did I mention that this one had legendary carriers in it? I'm seeing them more and more, but as of yet, I don't see too many people playing them well. And it does seem, by and large, most people are playing Midway, which I would argue is the weaker of the two. Now, the AA on Daring is fairly middle of the road, with a rating of around 55, depending on what modules you use and the way you spec your commander. So while it's not a no-fly zone, it can shoot down Midway planes, especially when they aren't full squadrons, and even more so when, for whatever reason, the carrier chooses not to go after you. Though I do think they blind dropped me there, maybe? But that's the last time that this carrier player is going to go after me. Well, I shouldn't say last, because technically they will go after me again. But again, I'm sitting here in the center trying to hold back all these ships because we are down on points and they've got more destroy. Well, they don't have more destroyers, but I'm not really sure where our other destroyer is. But there is the Midway, which lulls. I love how bad their detection is on these legendary tier carriers. Anyway, I was thinking about going this way, and then I just realized, you know what? All the action is flowing towards the center, so let's just turn around, and now we see that there's an enemy on the cap, so that tells me it's got to be one of the destroyers, and with that, I am going to turn around and get back on the cap, and you see how I just activated my Hydro? That is the last thing we really need to talk about with the Daring. 3-minute Hydro. Now, you're not going to be spotting many ships, you know, through it. I think the ship detection range is only like 3.2 kilometers. But the fact that it lasts 3 minutes, and I believe there's a 2-minute cooldown in between, means you can run this nearly all the time. No more surprise torpedoes just popping up out of nowhere. If I'm going into a cap, or if I'm going into a situation where I think that there could be torpedoes, then it just makes sense to put it on. Because I, don't ever want to be surprised by those, especially Shima torps. So, since I have it on, and I've got my Perceptive on, I can start to push this Shimakaze that is in the smoke. And I do know it's a Shimakaze right here. I'm looking to see if these planes are going to fly over me. It looks like they are. So I'm going to activate my AA because I'm like, look, I'm spotted. I might as well do it. But you know what's really strange here? The carrier player is just going to fly away and not keep me spotted. So who am I to argue? And I don't know, is it this map? Is it this map that kind of makes everything look a little bit like a yoink fest? I mean, we're only at 4,000 damage. We only have 1 ship sunk, but y'all know how this is going to end. And let's just yoink this one and take care of that. So that's our 2nd ship sunk. I'm going to go ahead and pop my smoke to drop spot and open up my guns on this Montana. Have you noticed that this tends to start a lot of fires? It does, and that's something else I can mention. If you have the Warhammer 40K guy, you could theoretically, I think you can get your HE chance, or your chance to start a fire up to around like 13%, which is pretty crazy considering how fast this reloads. Anyway, there's the other destroyer, and it's pretty low, so I'm just going to go after them and try and remove them from this game too. And then at that point, I'm like, hey, all we gotta do is that Conquer over on C has just gotta sing that Mino. Well, it may not even have to do that, because once I get this, our carrier got him with a torp, and yoink again, and what have we here? Why, it is none other than that big old Midway with nowhere to hide now. So, again, now they're going to focus on me, right? But it's too little too late. I'm not going to be taking any of these torps. It doesn't even look like they have full squadrons at this point, so yeah, we're just going straight at it. Might as well. I got plenty of health still. I can, start shooting down planes as soon as they take off from the ship at this point too. I'm not particularly that scared of the Midway's secondaries. And let's show off the last feature of the daring, the tube by tube torpedoes. And let's just send these right down the pipe of this sea pig and see what happens. Now, I will admit, at first I was like, oh my god, are they dodging these? Are they gonna dodge these? No, we get Kraken 440 in the daring. And that is how it's done, as I just said to my teammate. They get the cap over there. We have the point lead. And I'm actually going over to A to stop them from getting any more points. Not that it's necessary, really. But I don't know what the health is of our Conqueror behind us. And actually, when I get over here, almost as soon as I get on there, they end up finally crushing that radar Mino that's been going around the sea cap for so long. So rather than make you watch it, let's skip to the end here. Alright, let's see the scoreboard. 3,072 base XP for a very good game, and a very good game for our Conqueror and for the Red Minotaur. Actually, for once, a pretty good game for both teams. So GG all y'all. Now, I'm going to throw an additional match on right now, and this was actually a match that I had earlier, and I very almost used this as the backdrop, but you will be able to figure out why if you stick around to watch it. However, I want to set up this match. This one ends up being a 3,800 base XP, 200,000 damage game, and by all accounts, I would say it is a more interesting and exciting game, but I, unfortunately, have work to do. So I cannot just continue to comment over this one. So, with that said, I will be stepping out of the studio. You all know where the light switch is, so if you want to stick around and see this battle, by all means, feel free. But if you've seen all you need to, then I'd say go start your daring research right now. It is, in my opinion, and probably some of the other CCs, the best legendary tier destroyer. Yep, supplanting Kleber, sadly. Now, if that French destroyer rework goes through, well, then maybe that'll change, but that's a long way off. I'll probably have the daring fully researched before that point. And between you and me, I've already dumped all my saved up research points into the daring project. It is that good. But that'll wrap it up for this one. If you are chomping at the bits for daring, give this video a like. If you've stopped your daring research to get the Shimakaze, give it a dislike. Questions, comments, leave them down below, and I promise that Donskoy video will be coming next. So if you want to see that, think about hitting subscribe. Thanks for watching, folks. I will get back out there for another, and we will talk then.
Main turret critically damaged.
We destroyed an enemy battleship.
Teammate, I need your support.
Critical engine damage.
We destroyed their destroyer.
Problem solved, sir.
destroyed an enemy cruiser.
Smoke generator activated. Smoke screen set.
Battle ends in 5 minutes.
Smoke generator activated.
We destroyed an enemy battleship.